Alright, we'll do some arrays. Just gonna wipe all this shit out of here. We'll keep person. Alright, so an array, we talked about data types earlier, where you have like your int equal whatever, or Python you don't need to specify. So arrays get put into brackets. So you can actually make an array of numbers. So you make a number array, and then you just have like, I don't know, 1, 2, 6, 4, whatever. You can even do an array of objects, which is a thing. And then we'll just leave it blank for now. And then later I'll just pre-populate a list or something. It'll take forever, so I will do that on my own time here. But now when you have arrays like this, you can do loops to loop through the information. Now there are different ways to do loops. We'll do just a basic for loop. So you can do whatever. So for each we'll say each item, or each number, for each, gazunga. So for the number array, we'll just say for each number in number array, we're going to do something. We could print out, we got to put in a value here to print out the number. So for each number in this array, it's going to print out the number. So if you were to put in some stupid, like Guga, whatever, we'd be calling these Gugas, but you'd have to reference it here as the same, right? So for each number in the number array, we're going to print the number. So I'll go through, prints the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. You can also print individual items in the array. All languages except for like 1 or 2, I think, start at 1. But this is actually 0, 1, 2, 3. So we were just to get rid of this for a minute here. Print people array. Whoops. I swear I haven't started drinking yet. So print the array stuff. If you print, so we're kind of lucky with Python because Python can do this. If you were to do something like this in C#, it would look a lot different. But in any case, it'll print the whole array. If you were to print a certain value, number array with subscript 2, it's going to print the 6. So remember, 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So you print that value, 6. So another way to do loops as well will be a while loop. So you need some kind of counter variable. So we'll just put like an iterator. We're going to equal that to that's going to be 0. Okay. So then while iterator is, you can do like less than 5 or something, but you don't want to go outside the scope. So if you try to reference number array at like 10, that doesn't exist. So you're going to get out of range error. So you can only go through these. So if you were to do like while iterator is less than 0 and while it's less than 6, so it'll run through it 6 times. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth iteration is going to break. So you got to make sure it's within the loop. So you can do 4, but sometimes you don't always know what your array size is. So you could do, make sure I'm doing this right here. I think it was len. So you can run this length. It'll count the value. So this will just end up being 4. And if we had like more values in here, This will end up being more. So then you can do something in here. Print, whatever, number, and then you can just put in number array, and then we're going to put iterator in here because it's 0, right? So it's going to reference 0, it's going to number array as 0, and then when it does this, we're going to do something to the iterator. You can do +1 or ++. Well, I don't think you can do ++ in Python. My mistake. So then iterator is going to become 1, and then this is the subscript 1. It'll run this again and do 2, so on and so forth. So when it gets to what, 3, 4, 5, when it gets to 5 here or 6, it's not going to plus anymore because iterator is no longer less than the length. Oh, what do we break? Out of range. Look at that shit. We better put a -1 in there. Oh my Christ. I'm a moron. I forgot to get rid of this fucking thing. Okay, any coffee. So, plus equals. God damn it, dude. So it'll run through it the right amount of times. So what happens? It runs through it once. It's going to print the first value, and then it'll add 1 to the iterator. So then it'll access subscript. This will end up becoming 1, and then 2 each time it runs through. And then when it gets to this value, this will be like a 5. It will no longer +1. If it did, it would break shit. So that's another loop, the while loop. Which loop you use? I mean, there's multiple other loops too, but it depends on what your code is doing. Sometimes it's easier to do like a do while loop or a for loop. I prefer the for loops if you're given a choice because they're cleaner and you can have everything in one line. That was this guy right here. So what this does is it does this line and this line kind of in the same go. As long as you're going through an array anyways. Alright, so I went ahead and made a bunch of people. Well, I'll just use 9 because whatever. So you can get information from an API like a weather site or something like that, which is typically how you would iterate through something like that, like mass amounts of information. But we're just going to do this. No database, no API, we're just going to make a list of people, okay? So we have an array of all these people. Remember how you can assign values? Last time we had, what, 1, 2, 6, 7, something like that. You can just straight up put people in here. All right, so we'll do it for each. So for each person in the array, we're going to do something. We're going to print a value. Remember, we could do dot notation, so we're calling them person, right? Person dot, look at that, you have access to the business. And it'll print all the names. So with just these 2 lines of code, you can iterate through 9 values. So that's how you go through a massive information. You can do multiple commands in here too. Like you can, well, I was gonna say create a person in here, but that'd be a fucking mess. Person.age. So it prints their age as well. But you can do it other things too, like say we have let's make just a random number. We're gonna just give it the arbitrary 51. Okay, so then as it loops through this, you can do something to that as well. You don't have to just do prints. We can add, we'll add 10 to it just for the hell of it. And then when this loop is done, something I should have gone through earlier too is tab, like indentation in Python is crucial. If you were to bring this in line with this, it'd fuck it up. That's just a Python thing. Like C#, you can have this all in one line and it'll just look atrocious, but you can do it. So just keep an eye on your tabs. So we'll add right here, we'll do, when this for loop is done, we're going to print the random number. So 141. So each time it ran through here, it added 10. So you can do a number of things in these loops. You don't just have to display information. But this is a way you would iterate through massive amounts of information. So if you had you're talking about carrots for your stupid Axie game. So like, we'll say carrot count. How about that? Or no, we'll just do count. No, we'll do carrot count equals 0, okay? So we could do an if in here. I didn't want to jump into these yet, but we're gonna. So if person.age, we'll say it's greater than 20. It's gonna do something. We'll say carrot count. We're gonna add 1. So if it iterates through someone in here and they're over 20 years old, it's gonna add 1 to this carrot count, okay? So there's 7 of them in there that are over 20. So if you were to create like a bot or something, you would set some kind of value that you're looking for, like a flag. And if there's so many of it, you would just say, hey, run, if there's 5 carrot values or something, or 5 of these qualify for a carrot, you would you do like an if, like if carrot count is like greater than 5. Like your WhatsApp just distracted me. Then you would print something. So if carrot count, we'll say it's greater than 10, it'll print this. Else, print not enough. Okay? So if it doesn't reach this threshold, not enough. So it would not recommend you to do a carrot or whatever that fucking game bot was asking. So that's how you set that flag variable up.